So today my guest is Simon Franc, and he has, well, I call him a genius because he has developed an amazing app called Kulpa. I can't push this enough for victims, and it's like I said to you before, Simon, I think you're an absolute genius for thinking and developing and creating this. But I've been so eager to get you on this podcast so that we can promote the Culper app, and it gives you that opportunity to explain to everybody how it works and the benefits to downloading this app for victims of not just domestic abuse, but any crime, basically, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's really important. It's really can be used by anyone to store evidence. It doesn't matter whether you're in a dispute with your neighbour, whether you're suffering antisocial behaviour, whether you're suffering stalking harassment, abuse, whatever it may be. If you need, first of all, to store evidence in a safe, secure manner, then you need Culpa.
Yeah. And it's free to download as well, isn't it?
It
Um,
is. Yeah, so if I just give you a bit of background, so my background is in forensic science. My mother is a leading forensic scientist, and I've run a forensic science service provider for the last 15 years. And what I really observed there during that period is a few things. So many people will delay reporting. So an event will happen, an incident will happen. We need time to process that, to think about it, to think about what actions we want to take. So that's the first issue. The second big issue that I saw was that police can only refer 5% of cases to the CPS. So 95% of crimes that are recorded are not referred to the CPS for a charging decision. And there's really two main reasons for that. One is one of evidential difficulties. So overall, 77% of crime cannot proceed due to an evidential difficulty, a reported crime. And the other one is one of victim attrition, with victims either not supporting the process because it's invasive or leaving the process early. So, if we look at how we can deal with the delay issue, so Culp is a safe space to securely store evidence before you need to do anything else. So, first action, if something's happened, you've got evidence of that, whether that be photographs, videos, audio files, documents, whatever it is, upload it to Culpa to ensure it's safe and secure and in a safe space. And then the second issue is one of evidence. So how can we deal with the issue that of getting more evidence and better evidence? So essentially, what the platform is specifically designed to do is when you upload your files to Culpa, not only are they safe and secure, but the platform is also authenticating and verifying that evidence, which means that it can be used to support a legal process. And I say used to support a legal process because it's not always about criminal process. Some people may need a civil process, whether that be a protective order, a restraining order, or something other. And so the platform is specifically designed to ensure that anything uploaded to it and then shared can be used in legal process, whether that be a civil process or a criminal process. And indeed, because it represents best evidence, that the person has the best possible opportunity for a positive outcome. And in terms of policing outcomes, the best possible opportunity for that person to be charged and prosecuted. And really, that's why we say, sort of on our videos and so on, get culpa, get justice. That really is what it's about. Yeah, so a couple of safety features that we've put in place. We really want this to be accessible to everyone, noting that some people, may need specific features. So there's a few things. Really basic message is if you want to upload evidence, if you want to securely store evidence, but you don't feel comfortable retaining the app, you don't need to. So you can download the app, you can register, you can upload any files that you want to, and you can just delete the app again. Everything will be securely stored on your essentially your private Culpa cloud. That's another really important point. Anything you upload is completely private and personal to you. It will not be shared with anyone. It is wholly your data until you take a series of actions within the platform to share that evidence. So there is absolutely no risk of that evidence going anywhere. Um, In addition to that, the app's protected by a unique PIN, which the user chooses on setup. So even if you've got the app installed and someone were to retain possession of your phone or computer, they couldn't access the app without your unique PIN, rather like a banking app. And also, if you want to or need to, you can use it on a friend or relative's phone, or you can access it on any computer. So if you're using a mobile phone, go to the App Store, download it. But if you're using a computer, just go to culpacloud.com, log in, and all of your information will be there. Of course, your platform is shared between, it's your space. So wherever you're logging in from, your information will be there and accessible to you. Yeah, no, absolutely. And coming to your point of sort of timelines and things, so one of the things that technology will do is when your evidence is shared, whether that be with a civil lawyer, for example, or with the police, the technology will automatically populate them for them an evidential case file. So it will automatically exhibit all of the items in the format that's required for a criminal process, for example. It will timeline everything, and it will provide it to officers in a format that they can immediately use in interview and also immediately send to the CPS. So, one of the difficulties is when people, and as you say, there are people that sort of, will collect evidence, reams of evidence, and they'll have it there. One of the sort of issues with that is it's extremely time consuming to actually then put that evidence into an evidential format, into the right statement format, into the right files so that it can actually be used, one, in interview, and two, in that legal process. So actually, by doing it through Culpa, we're actually making sure that officers aren't needing to spend that time to do that. And what we've seen is that really speeds up the process. It speeds up the time in which they can immediately arrest and then interview the suspect. And it also provides for a much more effective early engagement process. And the reason why that's so important is that the earlier we can understand, well, one, put the evidence to the accused person, for them and their legal counsel to understand what the evidence is, and for them to give a response. Policing, dependent on that response, can then take the most appropriate actions and take the lines of inquiry that are actually going to enhance and improve that investigation, rather than it being a natural instinct to delay that process pending perhaps a phone download, or other events. So one of the really important things that Culpa does is policing shouldn't need to seize and download a victim's device any longer, because the evidence that they're getting from Culpa is digital forensic evidence, which is authenticated and verified by the technology. So essentially, what they're receiving is digital forensic evidence, which they can immediately use in a legal process without the need to seize and download the victim's device, which is something at the moment which is extremely traumatic and off-putting to many victims. Yeah, it's a great question. So it's taken us a while to get all of our stakeholders lined up. Really, we've not just developed an app for the public. It also needs to be understood and used by policing, and it also needs to, of course, be accepted and understood by the Crown Prosecution Service in the UK, who are responsible for prosecuting. So we've got all those stakeholders lined up. Everyone is really, really content with that. And now it's really a communication process, which we are going through. Hertfordshire Constabulary have been our lead force. They are really pushing Culpa for all sorts of uses, and have seen their positive outcome rate improve by 3 times the force average before using Culpa. And we're now working with the other forces to make sure that they're on board, and it's really about getting them connected so that they can be most effective. But most importantly, it can be used by anyone, anywhere, immediately. It is completely publicly accessible. You don't need anyone to give it to you. You can just go onto the App Store, start using it. Whenever you're ready, share that evidence, whether that be with police and indeed with anyone. There's an option within the application, send my evidence, and you can enter anyone's details that you need to share it with. Absolutely. And even if, for example, you've gone through a process and there is a protective order, restraining order, or some other order, it is extremely effective if you have evidence of someone breaching that, to simply go on the app, new incident, enter the details of that incident, upload the evidence you have of the breach, and share with police. And police will have immediately usable evidence that they can use to essentially remedy that. Uh, and if necessary, take the person back into custody, etc. So yes, it's not just about it. It can be used at any stage for any purpose. You know, if there is an incident that you think is civilly or criminally wrong, upload the evidence, and then you can choose what to do with that and who to share it with. Really, really grateful, Deborah. Yeah, bye for now.